All right, man, look, yesterday was a crazy, crazy day. Did not expect that I would wake up yesterday and then eventually get a Tenkaichi 4 announcement, but that is the world that we're living in. And it brings me back so much because I used to make a ton of videos about Dragon Ball Z, a ton of like speculation on the new games, but truthfully, no Dragon Ball Z game has excited me in years. Look, when you get to my big old age, you start to feel a little jaded. You start to not appreciate life anymore, and things become so pointless. But, you know, trauma aside and things I should talk about to a therapist aside, Tenkaichi 4 is real, it exists, and what should we expect from Tenkaichi 4? I haven't made a speculation video like this in probably like a decade or something like that. I don't really know if that's true. Y'all can fact check me on that, but it's been a long time. And I've been seeing a lot of discourse on Twitter and my Twitch chat, you know, and Discords, everything like that. A lot of people have a lot of expectations for a Tenkaichi 4, and I get it because it's the fourth installment to one of the most beloved Dragon Ball Z video game franchises of all time. But I guess in this video, I'm going to go over what I think is our reasonable expectations. And probably the first expectation you might have with Tenkaichi 4 is the roster size. Now, the reason why we're talking about roster size here is because one of the things that's the most famous part of Tenkaichi 3 was the fact that it had everybody. Like, we talk about Smash Bros and how everybody's here. Nah, gang. Tenkaichi 3, there was like little crickets that were in like a snippet of an episode that aired on Toonami like 25 years ago that was never seen again, and you could play as that character in Tenkaichi 3. It's kind of crazy. So I've seen a lot of people expect a similar, if not a bigger roster size than that. I've seen a lot of folks, when we watched this on my Twitch channel, a lot of folks were like, oh, Tenkaichi 4 has got to have the Tenkaichi 3 roster plus Dragon Ball Super. I think this is kind of an unrealistic expectation. When it comes down to the roster size of Tenkaichi 4, I personally think that they're not going to add all of those characters in, nor do I really think they have to or they should, especially if a game like Tenkaichi 4 receives the amount of support that Xenoverse 2 did, because Xenoverse 2 came out in like 2015 or something like that, and it's getting updates to this day. So realistically, by the end of Tenkaichi 4, we could see a roster that size. Now, would it be great to have a roster that size off jump? Yes, but again, I just feel like that's really unrealistic. We don't really know what the development time for this game has been, how long this game has been in development. But if I were a betting man, you know, it's probably been like maybe a couple years or something like that. I don't think they could refresh everything about Tenkaichi while maintaining that roster. I do believe we'll get a steady roster size as the game goes on with DLC and stuff like that. But for a base roster, I do predict it to have a pretty decent, sizable base roster. I'm thinking you're gonna get, obviously, you know, all the Saiyans, you know, the major villains, stuff like that. You might even get a few like characters like a Bojack or something like that in the game as well. And then I would imagine that we're also gonna have Super content off rip, because obviously that's going to tie in to what's been happening with the Dragon Ball franchise as of recent. So obviously I'm assuming Beast Gohan, if not Beast Gohan in the base game of the game, I'm assuming we'll get something like, you know, a DLC very, very early, maybe a pre-order bonus or I don't know, something like that. Really wouldn't like it if they did that, but it is what it is. They got to make their bag up. I'm expecting something like GT to be out of this game, at least at launch. I'd love for GT to be in the game because I think Super Saiyan 4 is dope. Me personally, I'm tapped in for Super Saiyan 4, but you know, I kind of get it if it's not going to be in there. But I think what's going to matter the most for the roster size is what the story is going to contain. Now, in my personal opinion, I think the story will more so target Dragon Ball Super story arcs, and the way that a lot of people are thinking this game is going to go, and I might even agree with this, is the story may just take place right from Dragon Ball Super. I mean, Tenkaichi 3, you know, had all the characters from Z in it, And this might be like a Tenkaichi 3 scenario, but instead of being for Dragon Ball Z, we're getting it for Dragon Ball Super. So if we get to play through the whole Super storyline, that would be really interesting. I do feel like if they did that though, we would need a lot of Super characters. So if there are a lot of Dragon Ball Super characters, I do think some of the more classic Z characters may be left behind. So maybe we won't get those Bojacks or something like that. But you know, we could get Dragon Ball Super Broly up in here. We could get Beast Gohan up in here. There's a lot of cool stuff that they could tackle if they were to do Dragon Ball Super stuff. And realistically speaking, yes, a lot of my nostalgia is tied towards Dragon Ball Z. And as long as we get the mainline Dragon Ball Z characters, like as long as we can still get Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, Goku, you know, Majin Vegeta, you know, Majin Buu, Cell, Frieza, as long as we still get like all those characters, which we would likely will, because at least in Frieza's case, he's still in Super, I'll be fine with that. I could live with that. You know what I mean? And it would be really cool to have something completely new, not being retread from Dragon Ball Tenkaichi 3. We would actually get new story content and not go over stuff we already played millions of times. We all played Budokai, we all played Tenkaichi, we all played Raging Blast, Xenoverse, whatever. And yeah, I think that this story will probably fall along the lines of Dragon Ball Super. However, because of stuff like Xenoverse, people also were thinking, hey, what if they have an original story idea for this game? I don't predict that to be the case, mainly because of the fact that Xenoverse is its own thing. And in fact, I would like a Xenoverse 3 at some point in the future, but Xenoverse is separate from something like Tenkaichi. Tenkaichi in the past has been, you know, faithful for the most part to the original story of Dragon Ball, and I would imagine Tenkaichi 4 would be largely the same. Now, with that being said, I would love if they went into what if scenarios. That's always been some of the coolest parts of Dragon Ball games, and I feel like those were always parts of Dragon Ball games that they didn't go into enough. Like I remember some of the older Budokai games that like had some what if scenarios in there. I would love to see more of that stuff in Tenkaichi 4. Have fun with it. Get all fanficky with it. Who cares, bro? Like it's anime, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's Dragon Ball Z. We don't, you know, it is what it is. I like to see them get in there. But I could also see how people might be upset because there might be a favorite character of theirs that's not in the game that they would love to be in the game. And then they have like a Dodoria Birder fusion or some bullshit in there. People are going to probably be pretty upset at that. I understand. But what if scenarios would be great. They could even add some of those in for DLC. But the last part to sort of have expectations for is the gameplay. Now, for some reason, not really sure why, but there's been like a wave of people like, oh, y'all better hope it's like OG Tenkaichi and not like Ultimate Tenkaichi, which like I don't even understand why you would think they would go that route, especially because they showed like the little sizzle reel of all the older Tenkaichi games before the actual like transition happened. I think this is very clearly going to play a lot like the original Tenkaichi games. I really doubt we're gonna get something like Ultimate Tenkaichi, and not too much on Ultimate Tenkaichi. Okay, was the game good? No, absolutely not, but it had its merits to it, okay? It had its merits to it. If you watch the Everyday Beam struggle that I was a part on, Dion kind of got on my case a little bit. The only reason why I have fond memories of Ultimate Tenkaichi is because, you know, I made a series that meant a lot to me at that time about Ultimate Tenkaichi. Shout out to Sprogus. If y'all know, only the real OGs. Bro, if y'all remember Sprogus from Ultimate Tenkaichi, I'm sorry. You qualify for a senior citizen membership to Costco or something. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, the gameplay very clearly going to be more Tenkaichi inspired. And I hope that it really is just more like Tenkaichi with maybe they could add in a few more mechanics or something like that, because I don't know if y'all know about Raging Blast, but Raging Blast was a game that had Tenkaichi inspired mechanics, but it definitely wasn't as good as Tenkaichi. Now, I didn't always used to think like that. I always used to think like, yeah, Raging Blast is just like Tenkaichi. However, I implore you, if you have the means to, play Raging Blast, get used to it, see how it feels, and then go play Tenkaichi. Very different experiences, and Tenkaichi is leagues better than Raging Blast. It's not even close. I'm sorry to say it. but Tenkaichi just is a much better game, just much more fun. And that's what I really hope for Tenkaichi 4. I don't really care about any competitive stuff. I know in the era that we live in with online lab monsters and all this stuff, we're going to get cheesy shit. We're gonna get, like, the game will probably get solved, get figured out, and we're gonna have what's optimal characters, optimal like little combos, optimal moves, all that other dumb shit. But at the end of the day, if I fire this game up and I'm playing with one of my homies, I just want to be able to have fun, just like I did when I played Tenkaichi 2 non-stop ad nauseum with my homies on the couch, just chilling, playing some good old damn Dragon Ball. That's all that I want. As long as I can just have fun playing with some of my viewers, playing with my homies, that's it, man. And not gonna lie, the game from that little snippet, the graphics looked really, really good. I'm just really hoping it's like just an HD-ified Tenkaichi. A lot of the similar gameplay mechanics, and we locked in, gang. We locked in. But I'm here for it. What do you guys expect from Tenkaichi 4? Let me know in the comment section down below. I really feel like a kid again, man. Making videos, speculating about the new Dragon Ball game. I don't know, it's crazy. But if there's any other topics you guys want me to tackle about Tenkaichi 4, feel free to let me know that in the comments as well. Like, comment, and subscribe if you are excited for Tenkaichi 4. We locked in, gang. You already know the vibes. Catch me up on Twitch. I stream there pretty much Monday through Friday, and then now on Sundays with the Everyday Beam. So lock in there, streaming almost every day pretty much. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.